Hey y'all. So in this random conversation, I want to talk about flies for a minute. This was brought to my mind because a few days ago I was doing a video and I realized there was a fly in the house, and I was like, Lord, let this fly not get in my video, and these folks put me on blast. Thankfully, I was able to complete my video without incident. But I want to talk about flies for a minute because I got some random crazy stories about flies. So on this first story, I love me some beans and weenies, right? And I had a pot of beans and weenies, and I was going to, I decided to put it in the oven just so to stay warm, because I was going to come back and get me some beans and weenies. Love that with some white bread and some jalapenos. I don't know. I've been eating that since I was pregnant. Almost 17 years ago, I realized I like me some beans and weenies with white bread and little jalapenos. So I made the beans and weenies. Instead of leaving it on the stove, I set it in the stove, and then I forgot about it. So the next day, I go to open the stove up, and I smell a little stench. I'm like, okay, well, let me just clean this pot. I go in, and there's maggots inside the stove in the beans and weenies. And I'm trying to figure out what happened. The stove is closed, and I didn't open it for the fly. So how did you get in my beans and weenies? Did my weenies? No, my weenies couldn't have had stuff in it beforehand, right? Maybe, I don't know. The door was closed on the oven, and I thought about it. I was like, maybe this was some type of stealth fly. Maybe he crawled up on the pilot, where the little rings are, and he went down off in there where the silver plate is, and then he crawled all through there, and then maybe he went through the pipe that's in the corner backside where the heat come out, when you cook it in the stove. Maybe he went down that thing right there and got in there and did his hands like this and started doing whatever it is they do. I don't know if they vomit. I don't even know how the process works. I know they do their hands like this though when they're ready to eat. Maybe that's what he did to get in my beans and weenies, because he was determined. But it was maggots inside the pot with the beans and weenies. And I don't even know the life cycle of a fly, how this process works, but I definitely learned a good lesson. Don't leave food out. Don't leave food out. Don't do it, because I don't know what type of fly this was, but now unless something was already in my weenies, I don't know how this happened. Okay. So then there was another time a long time ago, and if you don't like gross stuff, you might want to go on and turn the channel. I had a trash bag, a white trash bag with some trash in it. Not in a trash can, but just a bag on the floor. And it had food in it, and I should have pulled the string tight on the trash. I should have done it. I was warned, go ahead and put that trash up. And maybe I was tired. It was back in the day. I had 3 kids. They was little. So I was tired. I mean, whatever. I got up that morning. And I walked in the kitchen. And maggots look like rice, so to speak. And I'm like, what's these little maggots on the ground? And then somebody says to me, now, this was back in the day. So this wasn't this time right now. This was back in the day. So that individual said, oh, if you think that's something, You might want to go over there where the trash can is and take a look. And then they walked away. So I'm looking at the few maggots on the floor doing their thing. And I walk over to the other side of the dining area where the trash can was that I was supposed to tighten up the night before. Y'all, and I know it was only one fly in the house. So tell me how this worked. The trash can had 1 million maggots scurrying like they was on a excavation, doing something. They were scurrying and rolling out of the trash bag, because it was full to the brim. They were scurrying and rolling out of the trash can onto the linoleum on the ground. And at this point, I look, and I kid you not, there were millions of maggots. They had followed each other from the carpet all the way. This, if I was walking, this probably would have took me about 2 weeks to get there. But these mugs in one night, all these maggots had done scurried out of the trash can onto the kitchen floor, and they was on a trail through the carpet all the way to the back door. How did y'all know where the back door was? What made y'all go that way? Because you wasn't gonna be able to get through the back door, because I wasn't gonna open it for you. They literally were rolling out of the trash bag onto the floor, and they were all scurrying to the back door. Now, mind you, if like on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, if you can imagine that movie, that's a long ways away. So that means y'all been scurrying all night long. Y'all was just born. And how did this one fly make all these maggots? Now I'm gonna have to go research the reproductive system of a fly, because how did one fly make all these doggone maggots, and y'all done become adults overnight? And y'all said, let's get out of here, let's get back to nature. All these maggots scurried to the back door as if they knew a secret way to get out. Like, y'all follow me, I got this. Oh my gosh. When I say squeamish, because I don't like bugs. I do not like bugs. When I tell you that I vacuumed, I mopped the floor with bleach. I couldn't even walk on the floor for a good while with no shoes on, because at this point I'm just flat out disgusted. I mopped and I cleaned and I cleaned and I cleaned and was just still disgusted. I can't walk on this. So I learned a valuable lesson. You come near me, oh yeah, you gonna get it. Don't sit at my back door when we barbecuing and you doing like this, waiting to get in. Don't do that, because I'm gonna get you. I don't care. If you go in them blinds, bam, it's over. You ain't gotta worry about it. I'm gonna spray you with some Lysol. I'm gonna just hit you and I'll clean the blood up, because you got to go. I can't do flies. I cannot do flies. It's nasty. From my understanding, they throw up on the food. Do they throw up on the food before they eat? I mean, like, no, you're not going to sit here and wait by the back door on me to open the door so you can get in here and eat. We're not going to do that. I do not like flies. Those mugs literally grew up overnight and scurried to the back door. So lesson learned. I don't play with flies. I just made some beans and weenies the other day, and I reminded my daughter about that story. And as I was eating, I was like, well, it's some beans and weenies in it. She was like, no, I don't want it. I don't want none. I guess, that traumatized her. That beans and weenies scenario traumatized her. So she didn't want none. And I still got some in the refrigerator now, and I did eat some yesterday. Now, this is not the beans and weenies from the other story, but this is a new set of beans and weenies that I made. And even when I was eating them, it was, it do kind of traumatize you, make you say, do I really want to eat these beans and weenies? So I ate a little bit because I didn't want to waste the food, because I'm black and we don't waste food, but it's a little bit left in the refrigerator. I don't think I'm going to eat that though, because now that I'm telling you about this story, I'm kind of grossing myself out. But that was a lesson learned. I don't play with flies, and I'm going to try to do a better job at keeping stuff clean. So have you had any encounters with flies? What do you do? I know some folks who got like a zapper. Do you keep one of them little sticky things at the top of the ceiling? Looks so nasty, and everything, the gnats and everything gets stuck to it. What do you do to keep the flies out? Let me know in the comments. Bye, y'all.